your story. We've done it with a couple of leaders.
Yes.
And today we are so happy to be here to hear your story, your journey, your background, what you're doing, to showcase it to the world out there.
Yes.
Of course, as we celebrate 1 year in office since our president was inaugurated.
True.
And also building up to the National Women Congress, which will be held tomorrow.
Yeah.
And also the National Youth Congress,
Yes.
which will be sometime next month.
Awesome.
Of course, you are a youth ambassador as well.
Yes.
And we celebrate you,
Thank you.
so much.
Yeah.
So thank you for hosting us here today, and we will be happy to hear from you.
Awesome.
Yes. So straight to our first question.
Yes.
Maybe briefly you can describe to us, Senator, your background, your career, and maybe your political journey.
Awesome.
Of course, you've been a little bit emotional when you've seen the UDA team.
Yes,
so we'd really
yes,
like
to hear the story.
Yes.
One, I start by really thanking God for this great day that He's really given us. And I've looked forward for this since we've started making the array. Very great. Keep on. There's always a start of everything. So TNA politics locally, we had one of the MCAs in the Embakasi East constituency, more specifically Mihango, and then the vibe of politics, 2013 TNA, and I found myself in it, supporting the candidate. And because of my input, because when I do something, which I always encourage the youths, when you do something, do it wholeheartedly, come out and be able to do the best that you can be able to do. So that even when someone is guiding you and correcting you, then you can improve from where you are because you've brought it out. Long story short, after that, and the candidate won, the candidate reached to me and told me, you know what, I want you to represent this ward by being a CDF member. I was like, oh, it was not even in my thought. But now, hence, the reward came. And I served as a CDF member between 2013 and 2017. Now, at this particular time, then, I had a very great opportunity now to interact, one, with the people, because on bursary issues, which we always used to distribute, to sit with the Member of Parliament. By then, it was Honorable Mondi, who was even in the opposition party. Gave me a platform even to work with somebody who is in the other side, and like now the party that we are coming in as a TNA, the Member of Parliament was an ODM candidate. We were able to work very well. I had a platform to go, do public participation, and so this urge of leadership now started, widening and becoming now reality, because I used to represent. Sometimes the member would even send me to meetings and say, represent me in there. And through that, I started growing. Come 2017, I contemplated, we always try to contemplate. And in 2017, of course, party issues, now we were in Jubilee. And I remember then the governorship position was, we had different candidates as Jubilee, and we had Sonko, we had Peter Kenneth then. So I remember I joined the Peter Kenneth Party. Coming from a corporate space, I saw the management, the corporateness, and all that. So I was privileged to be on his top secretariat. But fast forward, of course, he did make it, but it gave me a platform to be able to be on that particular level. And of course, if he had probably gotten into office, definitely I would have been maybe one of the CECs in the county and all that. Yes, and but that was that. I always say God's timing is the best.
Yeah, sure.
Come 2022, of course, we saw the issues that happened in Jubilee with the then deputy president and the president then, and hence a new party now was formed, a new baby. A new baby now who's walking, 1 year old, which we are very proud of, none other than UDA. I'm so happy, and it gives me the emotional part, because as a mother, the 9 months, and we've delivered a baby, and now it's a bouncing baby who's proudly walking. It's so grateful. 2022, I felt the time is right. And Tabitha decided she's going to be a candidate for Women Rep Nairobi County. I got into the ground. And I'm so happy because I connected. I'm just so happy. Some things are just natural. And the name started going round. But because of the leadership that we have, which I pride in, the leadership of our party leader, none other than William Samoei Ruto, felt that Nairobi being a cosmopolitan, if we go to nominations, then we might get candidates that maybe the party would not, it's normal. But the beauty is that we had a platform with His Excellency. And he shared his wisdom in terms of it being cosmopolitan. Can we sit? Can we talk? Can we agree? And that took place. But back on the issue of cosmopolitan, of course, Nairobi, with the different tribes and different numbers of the same tribes, the position for deputy governor was first proposed for the Kamba community, where I come from. My homeland, my motherland is Kitui. And those discussions came aboard. But apparently our opponents on the other side, that is ODM, also had a deputy from the same region. And as a party, we felt then if we divide these numbers, it will be difficult. Long story short, that's when His Excellency says for even the presentation of this community in this city, whereby we are number 2 as a Kamba community, then we shall nominate you to Senate. And one thing I pride in is that as also a young leader, I don't walk alone. I've learned the art of surrounding myself with other leaders with the wisdom who've been there in the space. And because I knew this discussion was to come when we had been called for a meeting, then I seek the wisdom. I seek the wisdom from none other than Johnson Muthama, who worked with me, the former chair, currently the commissioner at PSC. And we sat and he guided me very well, something that I really appreciate. And I want to urge the youth. At times as you're growing, just know that you don't know everything. Try and have the people whom you can seek advice from. And so that happened. And he took me through, he guided me, and even is the first person who proposed in terms of the Senate. So even when we went on table, it was easy because there was teamwork. There was consensus. It was easy, and it was easy for backup and for understandability. And I accepted. I said, okay, fine. And because now we were at the climax of the politics, I remember I joined what we call the team at the command center in Westlands. And I was with the current chief of staff, David Njoroge, office, and me and him represented Nairobi. Then what were we doing? We really focused on the narrative for our party as UDA. We were not sleeping, and it was a voluntary process. So sometimes they ask, then how do you get these positions? And I say, it is voluntary, the first step. It was not about there was a salary, there was nothing. It was just coming in. We participated in also ensuring that we had the agents, managing the agent process during the election day, and looking at the narrative, what is coming out, talking to our people, looking at the reports, the sampling that we do, to get the feedbacks of the candidate, especially when boss had gone to a certain region. Then we would the next day get a feel, plus the same day, the next day, and combine what was the feel. Even our opponents, when they did the same, and it was a crack of the mind, and that was the whole role. Up to where we came to the last days, we had the privilege of being in the same command center with the Nanok. We also had the CS Chirchir, and we really shared a lot from the different regions that we represented, and that is where I spent most of the time, and still finalized it in Bomas of Kenya. When we went now to Bomas of Kenya, I also had a privilege to be among the people who were on the table doing the tally. And I can tell Kenyans, sometimes when you hear the position says that we stole, it is so sad, because I personally had the privilege to sit on that table, and we were sitting as people from, of course, Kenya Kwanza and the opposition, Wajakoya team, and we had another candidate, and so the 4 of us. So the scanning was being done. We all verify original, the number, what is in the system, all that was open. And I had a platform to be able to be in that process, to be able to verify, to be able to check form by form. And I remember we call them the ones from IBC, the arrows, perfect, thank you, Anthony. The arrows who had the report and were bringing the report on table, representing different constituencies, and we were with them, checking randomly, checking. The process went very well, and that's one thing I pride in, because at that time, actually, that opportunity from Chebukati was a wisdom opportunity. Like, now come, let us check, all of us. That happened in this country. Of course, the next day was the climax of things. I remember that day I left Bomas at 3 a.m. I left Kenyans from UDA sleeping on the floor, literally awaiting the leadership. And I remember I left at 3 a.m. I love driving myself, by the way. And I was just driving at 3 a.m. So I decided, let me take a nap, because the next day, because we were confident, at 3 p.m. the next day we were to be back in Bomas. I get home, I take a nap, then I decide, let me relax. Shock on me. You have the badge at Bomas, can you come back? We need all the people with the badges, because now the badges were being restricted. Because by then, our opponents had flocked Bomas. Oh, it was going to be bad. What do I do for the love of the party? For the love of the opportunity of working with our leader? I went back. And that's why I want to emphasize to the youth. When we say in Swahili word kujituma, it is real. You don't need to be forced. You need to have it and know that the time is right. So of course I rushed back, and there I could see it would be chaotic. Of course I got in and everything. And let me tell you, I remember with the guy called Mike on the mic, who's currently the presidential MC. Yes, we are the ones who started noise-making and screaming and shouting, so that because the police were not reacting. Truth be told, they were not reacting, and until that noise increased, so that now there could be response. Otherwise, of course, they didn't want us to announce. So it has been a journey. And remember that time, as I've been at the command center and all that at Bomas, I never kept on asking about my nomination. I trusted, because the party leader that we have, Dr. William, is a man of his words. He says he'll do this, he'll do. And I'm a person who gets satisfied and focuses on the journey. Because what we tend to lose at times is that there is always a process. We tend to want to skip the process and jump. It's always beautiful for the process, and long story short, yes, after elections, after everything, and we a bit relaxed, and I thank God I got an opportunity to be nominated by our party. To be nominated where I come from, I don't have a dynasty name. I am a true example of the individual whose is not about where you come from, but where you've put all your effort as a person, and you've gotten a reward from a leader who, when he says, we will do this, I'll do this, and he does. And I always thank him. And that is why I tried my best to deliver, because he saw that I can be able to do it, and he gave me the opportunity, so that others tomorrow do not lose, because when we are given, then we do not do. And that's why I do. And I'm so happy that apparently when I got to Senate, the titles that I have, which I did not come with them, but over time, I've received them. Away from being the Vice Chair, Finance and Budget, a very busy committee, which is the mother of Senate, because matters finance, matters allocation to the counties are very key, which I try my best. and ensure that I do my role, because I am paid by taxpayers' money. For Christ's sake, then work. You didn't come here to sleep, then work. A role that I undertake very proudly. I'm also a member of the CP committee, which is an oversight committee. I give funds in finance, and I come and oversight and get to ask the governors, what have you done? As we speak, even we are having my committee going on, but for the love of my party, we had to talk. I'm also the chair, Kenya Women Senators. And I'm also the first vice president on World Scout parliamentarians, Matter Scout, and in Senate I represent the World Scout parliamentarians. Which other dockets am I forgetting? As I said, I'm still a CEO. We're also looking at the party elections that we shall be doing, the grassroots elections. My people have really urged me to represent them in one of the county positions, and I'm happy because it comes from the people themselves. I listen to the people because they are the ones who represent. Our key mandate, the first role for me, is representation, legislation oversight. I'm happy to state that I've also been able to table my bills. One of my bills on livestock extension services is actually on the committee of the whole for now to go to the third reading. I also have another one for labor migration management. We've done statements, we've done motions, and I'm happy. Yes.
That's quite interesting, Senator.
Yeah.
You wear a lot of caps in Senate, and that's really, really admirable.
Thank you.
And we just want to hear from you, like, how are you able to juggle all these roles? Because you're also very active in party politics. We usually see you in most of the pressers. When issues arise, you are able to articulate them and share out there. We just want to hear, how are you able to juggle all these roles?
Thank you, Anthony. Let me say that just the other day, among the best legislators in Senate, out of like 3 categories, from a youth point to a women point and to an overall point, something I thank God for so much. Now, for me to have been able and continue being able to juggle and balance, this is what I did. You know, I never forget where I come from. It is always important, and I want the youth to understand that. It is always important to remember where you come from. And why am I saying this? When I got to Parliament, then I personally decided to get to understand things myself. I got to really interact with the different secretariats of Parliament. And I can tell you, Parliament is very resourceful. It has all departments. Anything you need is a phone call away. Something that I understood from the onset. And I was there personally. I remember at some point the secretariat saying, Mweshimiwa, you have a PA? I said, yeah. She can just come and do. I said, no. It's not the PA's going to legislate. It's not the PA representing. It is me. And being a new member, a mono, you know, the best I do is go for the orientation myself. And that's what I did. I didn't put the honorable attire and feel that now I'm honorable, so things to... No, I'm used to doing things for myself. And so I went to each and I was able to understand. That helped me because I started executing, I was able to know when I need help, where do I reach? That has been very much working for me. At the same time, I have a very good team that really has also understood the process and also has understood the goals. Remember I said I'm a CEO, so every organization has to meet its goals. So I have also the management experience in me. I'm a master's student in international business, still currently pursuing my PhD at the University of Nairobi. So the experience and the skill and the knowledge that I have for management, then I also input. And I'm able to balance it very well because I know when it is ground time for politics, when it is office time, and we are supposed to execute. And so I've been able to equip my team. My team also understands me. We are not angels, we are human. So they are able to understand me and we work all towards a common goal because I need them, they need me. For us to be together, it's a teamwork. So we are working very well. On top of that, I'm happy because I have a very supportive husband. Very. Is the one who actually encouraged me, and I really thank him so much. That's why I have the other name, Munene. Apart from Tabitha Mutinda wa Munene, Munene has been able to hold me, to support me, to understand, and hence it helps me enjoy being a wife and a mother. So I continue because I have a very good support system. And why do I have that good support system? Because I've also been able to have a plan to explain to him, this is where we are, this is what we are doing. So he walks me a journey that he understands what I'm supposed to do. At time problems come because you don't communicate. You don't say, you don't pick calls. Then how would they understand? Now you understand, because when I say finance is one of the busiest and the wife is in that docket, then he understands. So I also communicate to my women leaders and say, communicate. Let you be understood in your different roles. Then you will enjoy, because in maisha lazima to enjoy, So you have to get that, because you have to balance. The other thing I'm happy is that in Senate I'm on the majority side, the government side. And I happen to be the only Kamba legislator on the majority side. So hence, especially when it comes to my vernacular that I speak, my mother tongue, the media, which is seconded in Parliament, we work so well. Anytime they need that I give them a shoot, it's called a shoot, I am always there for the young team, their young men and women. I support by giving them the audience of for the government side, So that is that. And on the other side, in terms of the other media channels, I don't know, maybe it's nature. They've really embraced me well. I have so many invites. I have to choose. But one thing I do, if I say I'll come to the station, like today morning I was on KBC, I will honor that. I respect that. Because when someone has given you their time, the least you can do is denounce, unless you're sick or there's an emergency and all that. And out of me being respectful and giving them the time as required, then we build a rapport. Like on KTN, we've been with the ball so much continuously. Why? Because there needs to be discipline. You need to wake up at 4. You have to prepare, and you have to drive and go to the station. By 6, the show is starting. Is that not discipline?
Sure.
And sacrifice. So that has helped me. And from where I've grown, from background, by the way, I'm a daughter of a single mother. Something I say, because the narrative of hitting single mothers, thinking that they don't bring up children who are disciplined, then where am I? Ama nimechoma. See, tuko sawa. So that issue, that feeling that this is a single mother, and so the children and all that, I am an example. I'm a true living example of one. And at the same time, I encourage the children who come from single mother. Work hard. Pull up your socks. Pick what you can pick. Run with it and continue. It is not a disability. It is not lack. As long as God has given you life.
Sure.
Carry on and proceed. And I thought today is also a girls' day. Yes, and we want to say as women, we continue shining. Yes.
And ideally, that's the reason why the NWC was placed tomorrow.
Yeah.
And Senator, it is quite interesting. You have been able to overcome all these challenges, of course being raised by a single mother,
Yes.
like you've said.
Yeah.
And at what point did you have that inspiration of doing politics?
As I said, it started earlier from 2013 when I started engaging with the people, and back then I did pharmacy by then, and had an opportunity to dispense drugs. And at that time, I could interact, and as someone would come and explain the issues, and I could prescribe. It gave me an opportunity in terms of connecting and having a soft touch with the people. So when I was from 2013 in terms of being in the CDF, then it gave me a bigger opportunity to interact with the people. I had women coming even to my home and knocking and says, my daughter or my son has been chased away, they need the bursary. can you help me? Can you help me? That connectivity started from there, and I felt that I can be out there, I can do something. You know, if they are coming to me, you know, hata saa zile when we are praying, so ile unaomba, unajua Mungu anakuonesha who to go to. So when that person comes to you, they've been directed to you. So see what you can do, because it is not just by default. Then why you? You know? So I felt that there's a calling, and I started, you know, I continued a lot of interaction, women groups, here and there, until the journey where we are. Yes, yeah.
Senator, let's shift a bit.
Yes.
Recently, during the partisan talks, we couldn't help but take note of your presentation.
Okay.
Where you highlighted the gaps you currently have in the implementation of the two-third gender rule.
Yeah.
What measures should be put in place to ensure its full implementation?
Mm-hmm. Let me first start by really thanking the President so much, because this has been the Excellency's agenda in terms of ensuring that it is adhered to way before, even during our campaign period. And something, as I said earlier, he's a man of his words. When he says he'll do this, then he's there to ensure it is done. And this is one of the proposals, both at the cabinet level, through the Ministry of Gender, Aisha Juma. We have the bill. We also have the bill in Senate through one of our senators. And now, in the bipartisan, it was one of the agendas among the issues of the leader of the opposition and such. It was among there. The beauty is that it's a discussion from different stakeholders. My take is that we be able to input what the different stakeholders have been able to bring about, up and including Kenya women parliamentarians, where I also sit again as a chair representing senators, nominated senators actually. So we have had our input and talked about that this needs to be adhered to. It can be adhered to in different ways. Currently, as we see it, county assemblies have been able to do the gender top-up through the nominations. Senate, that has been achieved through gender top-up. Where there's a gap is National Assembly. And as we speak currently, you find that looking at the number, you know, we have 47 women representing the county, that is the women reps. We have about 29 single constituency MP female. And then looking at the number that is amiss is about 24 women. The question is, do we add the number now? Because constitutionally, we are not well constituted, okay, on that regard. But looking at the cost, again, where we are, and our focus with the President on debt repayment, you find that then adding more positions through Parliament becomes a bit of a challenge at the moment. But of course, I'm happy because he's been able to try, although it's not 50% as he promised, but at least we are somewhere. We can be able to still increase the number by ensuring women are in the different state departments. The other formula, there can be options, but I know our male counterparts never want to hear this. When we say, then why don't we have 2 women representing, 2 women reps per every county representing, so that we fill in, so that number 1 and number 2 get in. But our male counterparts, the other day they were joking and says, if you bring that, then we will rise and say we are also female, things like that. Because of course, they are the ones who are supposed to support us. But I'm happy with the leadership of the President. It is convincible through him. Remember, as UDA or as Kenya Kwanza, we have the majority. So being able to pass this will be much easier. Those are some of the ways. The other is how then we continue. We can still add from the list of the nominations the 24, or the parties can have an opportunity and say, then why not add the 24 from the different parties currently, so that we bridge the gap. So what is there is that as legislators, we are focusing on supporting the different stakeholders. Aisha Juma, through the ministry, has set up a committee, and the inputs are positive. So what is important at the end of the day is to support. And of course, being on the government side, we will of course support the government business, also correct where it needs to be corrected. One thing I'm loving, if you go back to the finance bill, we had issues. you know, and our counterparts felt that as Kenya Kwanza we were chest thumping, which was not the case, because we were able to listen and make adjustments, you know. So what is important is that there will be support, and there is support from the president, which we are happy, and we look forward that we'll get to the bottom of this animal.
Thank you, Mheshimiwa. Still on women.
Yes.
Now, for the interviews, the past interviews that we have been doing, still on women, one thing is constant.
Yes.
His Excellency, the President, Dr. Samuel Ruto.
Yeah.
Keeps coming up about the way he's championing on women's leadership, and he's also a great mentor and teacher.
Yeah.
So what is your experience working with him in UDA Party, and also what is the place of women in the party?
Let me say that from where I sit, and honestly speaking, I am a true total example in terms of women leadership by the opportunity according to me by our party leader, none other than Dr. William. Myself, I said I do not come from a dynasty name that you will call me and that dynasty name for Dr. William to have picked me. I am a total true example because he picked me, not because I come from his community Kalenjin, not because I also come from a Mount Kenya whereby they have bigger numbers we respect. I come from an opposition place. I come from an eastern region. And he was able to accord me an opportunity, something that I really respect and I appreciate so much. So I am a true living example of what Dr. William has been able to do, and has been able to give me this opportunity, knowing very well, is not somebody I would say I've been very close to in terms of working in his office as a deputy president. It's what I came out and did, and he was able to, within his few working period, was able to point out. I think the other question you had asked is
what is the place of women?
What is the place of women? Honestly speaking, one, we have a chair, a UDA chair, Governor Cecily Marie, and actually is appearing in my committee as we speak right now. Yes, and I'm happy because she's there as a chair, a woman. But since Mkubwa said that these are temporary positions, the best we can do, I believe in leadership of teamwork. The best we can win more numbers as women is to sit down and have much more consensus so that we support each other as women. I'm happy to have seen that even women are taking the chair county levels positions. It is us tomorrow to agree on how many chairs we will have out of the 47 counties, a share for the women. It needs to balance. The opportunity can only be achieved when we sit down. And I think even from the party formula that has been put, you find that there is a communication of the gender balance. If a chair is a man, the deputy should be. Is not something that the party is offering for us as women. If the chair is a woman, then the deputy be. Even the position that the party has said about 3 deputies, why not have 2 female deputies? Because we have a deputy party who is a man, maybe 1 more deputy man, then 2 female deputies. We have an opportunity. What we need to do is to package that opportunity and present it to the excellency for this party to excel, for us as a party to get more members and to be able to increase in numbers, is to give our peoples, our leaders, a hearing. And through that, we will be able to achieve a lot. You know, we cannot be making noise and politicking, wanting to make the correct decisions. There are decisions that you need to sit on table and calculate. Out of 47, okay, if we have 24 women and 23 men, are we not somewhere? As a party, we've also advocated as a party, and where I advocate, I say, for the positions, for different positions like for single constituency and the governors, we need to say that we need, even if it is 15 or even 20 for start, that women be given, that be our share. Out of, then the other balance be fine, men or something like that, but at least as a party to agree that our constitution to clearly indicate that we are going to ensure that we are supporting 20 governor women from UDA. And actually that is what our colleagues from the opposition side partly did for some of their governor candidates. And they gave direct tickets. Okay, there's the narrative of let's go out there and compete. But we say this governor position has been so much male-dominated. There is no problem because you find that some of the legislators, some of the MPs who are single constituency, they started as women reps and now have moved to single constituency, which is where men have been so much fighting. But because there was a platform from the women rep position. So even at this time for the governors, then we need to have more so that now we continue empowering more women. And I'm happy because if we observe, and from the committees that I sit, most of the counties, almost all of them that are led by the women governors, they are doing very well. When we doing the audit reports, the women governors are shining. And I want to applaud them to continue shining. The other day we saw the reports for Governor Waiguru leading, and she's also the chairperson. She has also been re-elected. She comes from UDA because there is nurturing to that point that you can be able to be in that position, sustain, and be able to propel to the next.
Sure. Yes. And even our party leader, Honorable Cecil Marigai.
Yes. She's among the top. Yes, and she's also a chair. She has been able to balance being a chair of a ruling party, not just any party, a chair of a ruling party, and at the same time, a first-time governor. You know, women, we are talented in multitasking. That's where we score.
Just before I hand over to Anthony, tomorrow UDA Party will be launching the National Women Congress. I just hope you'll be there, Mheshimiwa.
I'm arriving there, mapema.
What do you think should be done to have more women in leadership, in positions both in government and party spaces?
One, as we speak currently, as I said earlier, we have some of the positions. And moving forward, as per our agreement, as we are serving the first term as a ruling party, I would say we should achieve the 50% because we've not achieved it. But I keep on saying something. I keep on saying, for even the 40 that we have, the leaders who are there as female leaders need to work harder, need to work smartly, need to achieve the goals on the manifesto of the Kenya Kwanza. Then that gives us a lead to be able to present and say, Mr. President, fill the gap, 10% that is left. If we will continue having issues, then we continue having wars and continue being negated by our male counterparts. Because, you know, it saddens me sometimes when I'm on the road and then you hear when some car is driving slowly, unasikia wanasema, huyo ni mama. We want to remove that narrative because it comes out like then we cannot be able. When a woman would do something, even in their docket, either PS, CS and all that, then what first comes out? Huyo mama. You know, it is wrong because wasemangi huyo mwanaume. It is wrong. So what I'm first saying is that the docket that you are handling, you know, as whatever, even as us as legislators, undertake your mandate. So that now when we say we've scored, you see, like today, confidently, I'm talking about direct ticket women governors because we have the likes of our chair, Honorable Cecil, the Waiguru, Susan Kika is out there, she's a faster. And when they keep shining and performing, we have a bigger bargaining of communication to say, compare this. So if we have more, what will happen? The other day we had an opportunity to go to Turkana Mashinani. And I would say and repeat that it was very sad to be there and being in a devolved, government, having a devolved government today and looking at the minimal developments that have been done there. It is sad. It is sad. It is very sad. So we cannot be where we are with a devolved government and the developments are very minimal. It is very sad. So all said, since women are shining, the party can offer more. So tomorrow, I believe there's what the party has prepared. We'll be able to look at it and voice it out. But I still want to appreciate the party. You know, as much as we give the inputs in terms of what needs to be done, but we still need to accredit and say, this has been done. So that whatever has been done positively, they can continue doing it much more better by ensuring that they've given us an opportunity as women during this Women Congress, something that also had been taking place during the campaign period. We had a platform for discussion on women issues. Which other party has led with that? Only us. The youth, as you say, will be coming in a few weeks' time. I remember I attended also the youth. It had a title, but it was for the youth, where the president was dancing with the thing when it was going like that. And you know, one thing I appreciate about him, he's so flexible and able to fit in the different shoes, even in women's shoes, in the youth shoes, in the wazee, in the men. It suits him very well. And I think it is out of that also is able to understand that this party will need the space for youth. Ndio waongee mambo ya youth. The women, we talk on women issues. It is very well laid. So we need to ensure that, you know, I always say maintenance is the most expensive thing in life. But we need to ensure we are maintaining what we had started, and then as we continue increasing, so that we don't continue increasing and we don't hold on what we've been able to build. Yeah.
Thank you, Senator. So we are almost wrapping up.
Yes.
From the conversation, I've understood that you really understand the grassroots structure.
Yes.
Because from the polling center stage,
yes,
if male counterpart is selected
yes,
as the chairman,
yes,
the vice chair automatically becomes the vice chair.
Yes, yes.
So maybe a word for the women out there as we look forward to the grassroots election this coming month.
Nataka kuambia wajitume. Wasipangwe, atupangwingwi. And the reason I'm saying that is because they should not be instilled fear that they cannot do it. Women, young women, come out. Come out, because the party, our party, has given us opportunities. What I just urge you is that be a leader of sitting with other leaders and trying to have good teamwork. And I lead by example, because just this weekend, not weekend, you know, the other day was a holiday, the Utamaduni Day. I was actually able to have a sitting with the people from my community who had really requested we have a seat on the discussions of the UDA seats elections that are coming. And that is positive, because they want we go as a team. So, but narrowing to the women factor, I asked women, you cannot be a chairwoman and now also you are there fighting for vice chairwoman. You are fighting. Sit down, be able to agree on how to balance. Ndio hawa wanaume wasichukue tu position sisi tukitandikana hapa. So try and run with it by ensuring that you sit down and have good consensus. And UDA women with our yellow color. Unajua yellow inatokanga Ukambani. Na yellow inamaanisha kushine, inamaanisha kitu ambayo imeiva, kitu ambayo iko sawa. Tulikuwa tumeiona mbele na tukabariki sisi kama jamii ya Wakamba on a light note. So what I'm just trying to say is that let us continue priding. And let me tell you, being on government side, it is very beautiful. It is nice. Do not want to be on the opposition. So siachwe hapo nje in the name of sijui sina nafasi. And women, this element of feeling like we have a disability, like you know, I'm a woman, you know, I need to be urumiwad. Jitume, come out there. Whatever they can do, we can also do at any time. So women, let us come out, let us shine, let us embrace our party. I know there is the issue of our youths, and to be more specific, like Nairobi, who also feel that they've been a bit left out. They've not gotten opportunities. I say now this is another opportunity that is there. So I want to urge women, come the youth, run with this. These are other opportunities that I'm so happy that our party is doing. I also want to thank SG Malala. the way he has been, moving around, not because he comes from the Western. I think yesterday he was in Mount Kenya region, and he's moving around. He's all over and all that. That's what we need to see. We need to see our leaders from the party moving to every corner of this country so that we can get more members. Remember, our margin was just 200,000. That is not something to sit back and be comfortable. We still have to continue getting. Our narrative was hustlers. It continues being hustlers. We respect hustlers very much. They are the ones who really held us. They continue holding us, and it's just been 1 year. Coming to a government that had issues, but where we are, I believe by next year, as we are starting, we'll be much ahead. All said for me is just to encourage. Do not sit at the door. Nobody's gonna knock your door. The communications team, UDA. Oh my God, this that you're doing, I'm so grateful and I'm so humbled that this is great. I've not seen them do, and they should not copy what you're doing. But I really want to really applaud you. You guys are moving. From the time we had said we'll have this, the reason it has been postponed, not because you sat back, it's because you've really been engaged. So, and you know what I always said? I said, let them run. Let them go. Let them. For me, I will create the time, no matter what, for the respect I have for the party. Muendelee hivyo, sana. And I know with this, we are all going to win. Yes.
Asante sana, Senator. And even from the outlook, you can see there's a lot of gender balance.
Let me tell you, in my committees that I sit, and my counterparts know, if a governor comes in and there's no gender balance, I voice it out. Because it's a concern to me, on a serious note. Because why would a governor come in with a delegation of only men? In that county, there are no women. I have been voicing out that. And I'm happy because most of them, out of noting that it is that serious, they have tried to include the females in the different dockets that are within the agenda of the discussion. So it's something that I also advocate within our committees as we sit. Yes. And I'm happy I can see gender balance.
Thank you.
Yes. Yeah.
And now finally, maybe the one out there would like to know what's in store for you in the future as we wrap up the interview.
A very good question. A question that I say that speak, I'm a senator. I want to concentrate and execute my roles as a senator. The build-up for the next one will come. So for now, is concentration and supporting the party, supporting the president. When the future comes, we will talk about it. But right now, let us work, let us deliver for what we promised Kenyans. And that would be my parting shot, because we tend sometimes to start concentrating on here, yet we already have the opportunity to be able to work. I focus on first being able to continue working. One thing that I'm happy is that what I need, where I need to go, comes from the people themselves. But I've said, let me work. But I embrace and appreciate the positive and the compliments that they give me, because it encourages me as a person. I said, we are not perfect, but I'm happy when we continue building each other.
Thank you very much, Senator. We'll close the interview from there. Asante sana for hosting us once again.
Yes.
And thank you so much for your time.